All right, let's jump right in. Today's deep dive is all about the observation records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Yoshida Tsutomu. We're looking closely at a fascinating project he's chronicled across both his Japanese and international sections. Now, to be clear, we aren't here to do a basic tutorial on how to use AI or to definitively judge whether it's good or bad. Instead, we're looking at a live, documented process, a real-time window into the creation of his upcoming Kindle novel. It's a journey that really challenges how we think about writing, the nature of work, and this evolving relationship between human creativity and artificial intelligence. And to set the stage, I want to share this incredible premise straight from Yoshida's own notes. Here, unfinished thoughts and pending questions are left as they are. Think about that for a second. We're in this massive transitional period with AI right now, right? The ground is literally shifting beneath our feet. So our mission today isn't to wrap everything up with a neat little bow or draw firm conclusions. We actually want to embrace those unresolved thoughts. We're here to deepen our speculation on what a totally new kind of co-creation might look like. Okay, Section 1, Yoshida Tsutomu's observation record, the novel project. Let's get into it. So Yoshida is gearing up to publish a novel called Why a First-Year Condominium Saleswoman Was Made to Read Keynes. On the surface, yeah, it's a story about the pretty grueling, very human world of real estate sales. But beneath that, it's actually a live case study in human-AI collaboration. The main character is Chika Yoshino. She's 22, fresh out of university, and just starting out in newly built condo sales. She has absolutely zero experience. She doesn't know what to say to customers, and she's really feeling the sting of constant rejection. But her biggest struggle, and really the central question of her whole journey, is this. Can sales targets truly coexist with genuine responsibility toward the customer? This question totally redefines the concept of sales for her. Because think about it, buying a home is probably one of the biggest financial decisions a person is ever going to make. It's never just about floor plans or a convenient commute. It wraps in family dynamics, employment stability, retirement, and all these deep-seated uncertainties about the future. Chika has to learn that she isn't just selling a building, she is navigating people's deepest hopes and fears. Which brings us to a pretty unexpected twist for a real estate novel. Why Keynes? Why is a rookie saleswoman reading the theories of the famous economist John Maynard Keynes? I mean, this isn't a textbook, and Chika certainly isn't out there trying to memorize complex academic formulas. Instead, Keynes actually provides a lens for her to understand these massive macroeconomic factors. We're talking employment, income, expectations, uncertainty, and consumer confidence. These aren't just abstract concepts floating around on a news ticker. These economic conditions directly dictate whether a real person feels secure enough to pull the trigger and buy a home. Yoshida brilliantly uses Keynes here to bridge that huge gap between global economic theory and, say, a single family sitting across the desk in a local sales office. It all boils down to this really powerful realization. Behind every economic statistic, there is a person, a family, and a real life. Through Keynes, Chika learns to look way beyond the numbers. And as you'll see in a minute, this draws an incredible parallel to Yoshida's own creative process. Just like Chika has to look beyond cold data to see the human being, Yoshida, as the author, has to look beyond AI as just a text-generating machine to find the human heartbeat within their collaboration. What's really interesting here is how the story deliberately rejects those flashy, dramatic tropes. You know the ones, where a rookie miraculously becomes a top-performing salesperson overnight. Instead, the focus is on the quiet accumulation of experiences. It's a passing piece of advice from a senior colleague. It's the physical exhaustion of walking through a residential neighborhood in the blazing summer sun. It's politely taking a phone call from a customer who just decided they aren't going to buy. It's the gritty, completely unglamorous reality of gradual growth. Ultimately, professional growth in Yoshida's world is defined so simply: seeing something today that you couldn't see yesterday. A question Chika couldn't answer yesterday, she starts to grasp today. This gradual, deeply human journey of learning sets the stage perfectly for the second half of our deep dive. Because while Chika is figuring out how to navigate the human heart on the sales floor, her creator, Yoshida, is on a massive learning curve of his own. So let's shift gears from the protagonist's journey to the author's reality. This entire novel is being developed through an ongoing, continuous dialogue between Yoshida and ChatGPT. But how does that actually work in the real world? We hear the buzzword co-creation thrown around all the time, right? But what does the actual division of labor look like when you're writing a nuanced, character-driven novel?
To really get this, we have to clarify Yoshida's stance. For him, ChatGPT is absolutely not a ghostwriter. He didn't just type in a prompt like, write a real estate book for me. It's not a simple machine that just spits out finished answers to commands. Rather, he treats ChatGPT as a dialogical creative partner. It's a tool he uses to organize complex ideas, explore totally different perspectives, and refine the prose through this constant back-and-forth conversation.
Let's break down the exact workflow here, because it's fascinating. Step 1 is the human foundation. Yoshida develops the original concept, the characters, the themes, and that gritty professional setting of the real estate world. Step 2, ChatGPT enters the chat to support. It proposes chapter structures, helps flesh out emotional expressions in the dialogue, and checks for consistency across the manuscript. But step 3 is where the real magic happens. If ChatGPT suggests a scene that feels, a bit unnatural, maybe the emotional development is off or the sales scenario doesn't reflect reality, Yoshida steps in. He explains the issue to the AI, and they actually reconsider, discuss, and rewrite it together.
Which leads us to this incredibly definitive statement from Yoshida himself. The final creative decisions and responsibility remain with me as the author. The AI is a phenomenal assistant for exploring angles, but human judgment, human empathy, and that ultimate responsibility, those are entirely irreplaceable. The machine checks the structure for sure, but the human guarantees the soul. All right, moving on to Section 2, the future of dialogical co-creation. As Yoshida heads into the final editing and cover design phases for his Kindle and paperback release, his observation record forces us to pause and reflect on this intertwined journey. The themes of the novel perfectly mirror the themes of its actual creation. Think about it. Chika's path in sales requires empathy and immense patience. Yoshida's path in writing requires those exact same qualities to guide the AI. Both are stories of professional growth. Both require looking past the surface, whether that surface is a daunting sales quota or a block of AI-generated text, to find that genuine underlying human connection. Which leaves us with this final lingering thought. Remember our premise from the very beginning? We are here to leave unfinished thoughts as they are. So I'm going to leave you with the exact question at the heart of Yoshida's project. What can human-AI collaboration contribute to storytelling without replacing human judgment or responsibility? As we navigate this wild transitional period, we don't need a firm answer today, but it is an absolutely profound question to speculate on as we watch creators like Tommy Yoshida forge this totally new path forward. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring out there.